On 6th of May 2026, that is 2 days after Bengal election results, sources indicated that Mamata Banerjee in a closed-door meeting had told her close aides like Chandrima Bhattacharya that she and others should start practicing law and that she most definitely would for Trinamool Congress as a party and also highlight a couple of issues in public interest. In less than 8 days since then, the maiden visit of Mamata Banerjee to Calcutta High Court happened, this time not as a petitioner, not as a spectator, but as a lawyer. On 4th of May 2026, the results came out. Tables turned, Trinamool Congress lost, BJP came to power. And in 10 days since then, Mamata Banerjee is back in the headlines. It was around 10:15 in the morning on Thursday when everyone caught off guard as they saw someone looking eerily familiar and similar to Mamata Banerjee got off a car, and that too from some distance of this very main gate. That person, like any other lawyer, was wearing the white collar and also was carrying the black robe in hand. Nobody has seen Mamata Banerjee like this, and those who have covered Mamata Banerjee would remember 2 decades back, in one appearance before Bangshal Court, Mamata Banerjee had appeared in one particular case as a lawyer. That was the last memory when Mamata Banerjee had appeared as a lawyer. But since then, there has not been any such appearance where she has been the lawyer on record for one particular case. Yes, in recent memory, on 4th of February, people have seen she scripted history as a sitting chief minister. She simply did not walk into the corridors of Supreme Court, but also appeared before the bench of Chief Justice of India on the SIR issue. At that time, she herself was the petitioner. So on her petition, she herself made an appearance. She made a special appearance. But today, as she walked inside the precincts of Calcutta High Court, people, as I said, were simply taken by surprise. Nobody had any idea that Mamata Banerjee would be making a public appearance today, and like this. Donning the black robe, she straight away walked up and then went inside courtroom number 1, the courtroom of Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court. The issue was post-poll violence, exactly the same issue that made headlines after 2021 Bengal election results, after BJP had alleged that after Trinamool Congress won in 2021, there had been wide-scale post-poll violence. Yes, BJP made a lot of noise about it. Media reported that. The matter came to Calcutta High Court. NHRC, that is National Human Rights Commission, was mandated to go and investigate and file a report. All of that happened in 2021. In 2026, it is Trinamool Congress making allegations of post-poll violence, suggesting there had been wide-scale violence in past parts of East Midnapur, Bardhaman, South 24 Parganas, North 24 Parganas, and that police had been a mute spectator. Today, a PIL came before the bench of Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court, a PIL filed by Shri Mamata Banerjee, a candidate of Trinamool Congress, also a practicing lawyer and son of Calcutta Banerjee. And that petition, that PIL, running into 124 pages, highlighted documents after documents documenting incidents of violence, not one or two, multiple incidents of violence, where people have been allegedly killed, who have been victims of political violence, where shops after shops have been completely gutted, where villages after villages have been completely ransacked, vandalized, and gutted. And all these are documented in that 124-page long PIL, which came before the Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court. And that PIL had Calcutta Banerjee, senior advocate, on record as the lawyer representing the case.
যে প্রায় 250-300-র ওপর পার্টি অফিস আমাদের বিভিন্ন জায়গায় ভেঙে দেওয়া হয়েছে। তারপর দেখিয়েছি যে কত লোক তার চার্ট দিয়ে সমস্ত কিছু দিয়ে দেখিয়ে দিয়েছি যে কতগুলো লোক গৃহ ছাড়া রয়েছে, প্রায় 2000-এর মতো লোক সারা পশ্চিমবঙ্গ ব্যাপী, এবং আরও আমরা দেব। তারপর কতগুলো চার্ট দিয়েছি যেখানে ঘরদোর ভেঙে দিয়েছে একদম, প্রায় 1000 লোকের, তাদের নাম অ্যাড্রেস দিয়ে দিয়েছি। আমরা 10 জন লোকের নাম দিয়েছি যে 10 জন লোককে খুন করে দেওয়া হয়েছে অলরেডি।
And what was Mamata Banerjee doing exactly? She was the assistant lawyer assisting the senior advocate, that is Calcutta Banerjee. Thus, in that capacity, as an assistant lawyer on record, she went to the courtroom and waited quietly for her turn to speak. It was Calcutta Banerjee, the senior advocate representing the PIL, opened up the hearing, where he alleged that Bengal has possibly never seen a situation of this kind, reminded this bench of Calcutta High Court that in 2021 the situation warranted a special bench, a bench of 5 judges, a larger bench of 5 judges, and that the situation is far worse than 2021 and thus requires interim order, intervention of Calcutta High Court. He even suggested that bulldozers have never been the culture of Bengal, but unfortunately that is the reality, and it is Trinamool Congress that was in power for 15 years. Today, as they are not in power, they are making exactly the same allegation against police what used to be made by BJP when they were not in power. Trinamool Congress said that police had been nothing but mute spectator and endorsed the lawlessness which is currently on. Question: how are bulldozers coming into the picture? Who are getting them? And that's how the opening remarks came from Calcutta Banerjee.
হগ মার্কেট সহ আরও 12টা জায়গায় বুলডোজার দিয়ে ভাঙা হয়েছে, এবং পুলিশ কোনো পদক্ষেপ কোথাও নেয়নি। পুলিশ রিমেন্স আইডল, পুলিশ রিমেন্স একদম চুপচাপ রয়েছে, এবং পুলিশ তারা উস্কানি দিচ্ছে, তারা এই হিংসা, বিজেপির যারা রাজনৈতিক কর্মী আছে তারা যা হিংসা করেছে এবং হিংসা ছড়াচ্ছে, পুলিশের প্রশ্রয়ে সেই হিংসা খুব তাড়াতাড়ি বাড়ছে।
Shri Mamata Banerjee's petition was not the only PIL before the bench. There was also another PIL filed by another petitioner and represented by senior advocate Bikash Ranjan Bhattacharya, a left leader and former Rajya Sabha MP. Bikash Ranjan Bhattacharya, the senior advocate, taking a cue from what Calcutta Banerjee has said, he said that bulldozer was never a culture of Bengal. It has been imported here, and specifically highlighted one particular incident, the incident of Hog Market from the iconic New Market area. Yes, these videos did lot of rounds on 5th of May. A day after the election results came out, there had been several roads in Kolkata a witness to something they have never seen: bulldozers rallying along with people. And there was one video that clearly indicated bulldozers had also reached to New Market area and they were in action. Hog Market became one of the first victims of bulldozers. Whether done by someone in private capacity or had the patronage of somebody else, no one can confirm. But what videos could confirm, on the pavement of Hog Market, part of the iconic New Market area in Kolkata, there were two structures totally reduced to rubble. One of them also happened to be the Union Office. It is a confirmation that post-poll violence had happened came from no one but the Prime Minister himself. The Prime Minister of the country, during the victory speech after BJP won Bengal election 2026, reminded people of Bengal the importance of peace and harmony. Why did he say that? Because by then, reports of post-poll violence had started trickling in, and thus, Prime Minister thought it's imperative that from that very stage, from where he was giving his victory speech, decided to remind people the importance of peace and harmony. He said, violence should not be the identity of Bengal, should not be the culture of Bengal, and if that has been the culture of Bengal, that has to change. That will be the real Parivartan, not Badla, not revenge, but change is what they have been asking for.
बंगाल में बीते दशकों में राजनीतिक हिंसा की वजह से न जाने कितनी जिंदगियां बर्बाद हो चुकी है। मेरा स्पष्ट मानना है कि आज से बंगाल की इस चुनावी जो आदतें फैली हुई हैं, उसमें बदलाव आना चाहिए। आज जब भाजपा जीती है तो बदला नहीं, बदलाव की बात होनी चाहिए। भय नहीं, भविष्य की बात होनी चाहिए। मेरी सभी राजनीतिक दलों के कार्यकर्ताओं से अपील है, आइए हिंसा के इस अंतहीन चक्र को हमेशा के लिए खत्म करें।
The entire courtroom number 1, was jam-packed. I don't remember when is the last time I've seen such a scene. The courtroom number 1, where the Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court sits, like any other courtroom, is fully air-conditioned. But the situation became so overwhelming that the doors of the courtroom number 1 had to be opened so that people can somehow manage their feet, and probably a stampede kind of situation could be avoided. So the doors were left ajar, and even media people who could not enter inside the courtroom premises, they were trying to hear as hard as possible the conversation that transpired hereafter. Why this curiosity? Because Mamata Banerjee, former Chief Minister of West Bengal, now made her opening remarks at this stage after Senior Advocate Vikas Ranjan Bhattacharya was done speaking. She started her speech by offering her humble regards to the judges, and she made it very clear that this is the first time she is visiting Calcutta High Court, and she is visiting this court as a lawyer representing this serious issue of post-poll violence. So Mamata Banerjee began by highlighting the pictures which are part of the same PIL. Pictures that indicate something wrong most definitely has happened. Pictures of remnants of violence. She said, please see the images, judges. Even the children are not spared. The women are not spared. The minorities are not spared. The Hindus are not spared. And I'm hereby handing out a list of 10 people who have been brutally murdered, who are victims of political violence. She then said that one scheduled caste family, including a 92-year-old widow, was thrown out of the house. They ransacked so many houses. So many people are suffering, including general caste Hindus. She goes on to say, out of 10 dead, 6 are Hindus. Please tell police to behave properly. They are not allowing FIRs to be lodged. In my family, 12-year-old girls are being threatened with physical assault. The Chief Justice at this point interjected. And then the Chief Justice reminded, is this part of the averments? Mamata Banerjee immediately countered. She said, if you allow it, we will find every day this is happening. She then goes on to say, the matter is increasing every day. Even fish markets are being broken. We don't have any problem with who wants to eat what. And then the bench kind of interjected and asked Mamata Banerjee, "Ma'am, please confine your argument to the pleadings." Chief Justice, the bench of Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court politely reminded her that if you are making an argument on post-poll violence, keep your arguments on post-poll violence and specifically what you have highlighted in the PIL. After that, Mamata Banerjee continued. She said, "We want immediate protection for the people. In front of police, they are capturing and looting houses and offices. I have already given pictures." The Chief Justice said, "Let us hear the other side." Mamata Banerjee said, "My humble submission is to please protect the people of Bengal. This is not a bulldozer state." I repeat, she said, "This is not a bulldozer state." Kollan Bandyopadhyay at this point tried standing in support of Mamata Banerjee. He said, "Police should extend all assistance for people to return to their homes and committees must be constituted." It's important to note the bench of Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court at the very beginning, when Kollan Banerjee said that the situation in 2021 warranted a larger bench of 5 judges, the Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court today asked a pointed question: "Are you seeking a prayer in that direction?" It was then when Kollan Banerjee said that the situation is even worse than 2021, sad that nobody is talking about it. So hereafter, Additional Solicitor General Ashok Chakraborty, he highlighted that this is a writ petition filed by a lawyer of this court. The Supreme Court has always said that PIL by a lawyer is subject to restrictions in doing detailed research and documentary proof. As I said, the PIL was filed by the son of Kollan Banerjee, who is also a practicing lawyer and who has also been a Trinamool Congress candidate. So Additional Solicitor General at this point made this submission. Nonetheless, the Additional Solicitor General kept on saying that it cannot be sent to 5 judges bench. First, the merits of the PIL has to be seen. So the maintainability of this PIL has to be first assessed. Whether this PIL can be accepted, can an order be passed on this regard? It's something that the Additional Solicitor General tried highlighting while suggesting that look, this PIL has been filed by a practicing lawyer of this court and there are submissions, there are observations from previous judgments, even Supreme Court, that essentially said that if a lawyer files a writ petition, a PIL by a lawyer is always subject to restrictions in doing detailed research and documentary proof. Now, Deputy Solicitor General Dheeraj Trivedi represented the DGP of the state and the Kolkata Police Commissioner. So representing the police who are part of the state administration, the new state government, Deputy Solicitor General Dheeraj Trivedi made the opening submissions as a counter. Because the ruling dispensation has changed, specific instructions are yet to reach. My instructions are that we assure if any incident takes place, we are lodging FIRs even through email under BNSS, that is the new law category. The Deputy Solicitor General Dheeraj Trivedi also highlighted that stray photos have been annexed without authentication. We have to verify from the police department. He goes on to say that media would have reached these places if any incident happened. We will go and file a report after getting time. He also adds, we are challenging the maintainability. Interim relief should have some basis. Which are the affected areas? He questioned. They have only made vague allegations. The Deputy Solicitor General then goes on to say that which time, which date, where has it happened, who were the complainants. These things have to be specifically mentioned in order to seek maintainability of this PIL, also so that they can verify and come back with a report. So essentially they were seeking time to file a report as an official response to these allegations, and they kept on saying that the state kept on saying, I would say, that they wanted specific details of these allegations so that specific queries can thereafter be made and specific reports can thereafter be submitted. The Deputy Solicitor General also questioned where are the complaints from affected people. He goes on to say the 5-judge bench was constituted in 2021 after a very different set of facts. let us find out if anyone was murdered. So Mamata Banerjee said 10 people have been killed, all victims of post-poll violence. The Deputy Solicitor General representing the police, the DGP and the Police Commissioner clearly said, let us first find out whether people have been victims, have been murdered or not. Where are the complaints that people can't return? There is not a single complaint. They must give some reference point. And he goes on to say, in the Newmarket Hog Market area, it was a permanent structure and there was a case registered where the bulldozer demolished a permanent structure. 9 people were arrested. If the corporation comes, then they can say whether it was authorized or not. So whether that structure was authorized or not, that the corporation, if made party to this case, can confirm. The court at this point asked, so the state has not done the demolition by bulldozer? To which Deputy Solicitor General says no, very emphatically. And it was some private person. We have registered an FIR, arrested 9 people. Can it be said to be the post-poll violence? He asked before the bench. This is not a fit case to pass any interim order, he pleaded before the bench. Kalyan Bandyopadhyay at this point said, wherever a complaint comes, it is the duty of the Constitutional Court to protect. Kalyan Bandyopadhyay also goes on to say that I'm surprised to hear the Deputy Solicitor General says he didn't get any instructions. The Additional Solicitor General and Deputy Solicitor General are making contradictory statements. The Deputy Solicitor General at this point, in a way, engaged into a verbal counter with Kalyan Banerjee. He said, don't put words in my mouth. The Chief Justice said, Mr. Trivedi, that is Deputy Solicitor General, you wait for your turn. This quarrel is unknown to court. Please wait for your turn. So effectively, this is what transpired within the court room. And the court said they will see if an interim order has to be passed, and that order has now been resolved. So effectively, there is no order that we can highlight or reflect upon. But yes, dramatic scenes unfolded. As Mamata Banerjee walked out of the courtroom, unprecedented scenes unfolded. She is a Z plus protectee. Her personal security people, at least 4 or 5 of them, tried guarding her. There were lawyers who tried coming close to her for a selfie or to greet her. But at the same time, there were also others jeering her, raising slogans and calling her names. Many would say those slogans were unsavory in nature. Some even shouted Jai Sri Ram right outside the courtroom number 1, very much within the premises of Calcutta High Court, very much within the precincts of Calcutta High Court, the oldest court in this country. As she was walking out, initially there was a lot of resistance, people were trying to block her way, and Kalyan Banerjee and Mamata Banerjee looked back and even said, look, they are not even letting us get out of the courtroom. This is the situation out here in Bengal. But as she was quietly walking out, there were slogans coming her way, jeering came her way, but she kept quiet. She kept going towards the lift area, took a lift, came down. So from first floor, the crowd had also assembled on the ground floor. On the ground floor too, there were people jeering at her. And as she was making her way out, there was lot of jostling happened. Because outside the courtroom, they were simply not lawyers, they were common people too. And who raised Jai Sri Ram slogan or who raised Chor Chor, that is thief thief slogan, you cannot really identify one single person from the crowd. But yes, we do confirm that on the first floor, right outside courtroom number 1, the courtroom of Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court, the slogan of Chor Chor, that is thief, that was raised. Jai Sri Ram slogans were raised, and they were raised by mostly people wearing black coat. We cannot independently confirm as who they are. They could be lawyers, they might not be lawyers. If they were wearing coat, many would say they are presumed to be lawyers, or most likely they are lawyers. But yes, those sloganeering happened. But as she came out, she did not issue a single statement to media. So add to the lawyers crowd, add to the outsiders crowd, add to the common people crowd, you also had now media, camera people, all trying to get as close as possible to Mamata Banerjee. Lot of dhakka mukki happened. Kollan Banerjee even said, if this can happen inside the courtroom, where a Z plus protecting is not safe, imagine what's happening outside the courtroom premises and precincts, where people do not enjoy Z plus protection.
পশ্চিমবাংলায় এই মুহূর্তে কোনো গণতন্ত্র বলে কিছু নেই। আমরা মামলা করে বেরিয়ে আসার পর আপনাদের প্রেসের সামনে আমরা দেখেছেন কিভাবে বিজেপির লয়াররা মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়কে হেকেল করেছে, এবং আমার পক্ষেও আজকে বেরিয়ে আসা খুব অসুবিধা হয়েছে। এবং একটি ছেলে যে শুভেন্দু অধিকারীর ভবানীপুরে ইলেকশনের ছিল, কি নাম, সূর্যনীল দাস অ্যাডভোকেট, আপনাদের অনেকে ভিডিও করেছেন হয়তো ফোন টোনে, সেই ফোন টোনে দেখতে পাবেন যাচ্ছে তাই গালাগাল দিচ্ছে। মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় নিজে সূর্যনীলকে পয়েন্ট আউট করে দেখিয়ে দিয়েছে যে কাউন্টিংয়ের দিন মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়কে হেকেল করেছে সূর্যনীল তারপর যাচ্ছে তাই ভাষায় মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়কে যা ইচ্ছা তাই বলে গেছে। এটা তো জায়গা নয় কে চোর কে ডাকাত তা বলার, তা তো আমরাও তো অনেক কিছু বলতে পারি, এটা তো জায়গা নয়। যদি কলকাতা হাইকোর্টের মধ্যে আমার কোনো প্রোটেকশন না থাকে, আমাদের কোনো প্রোটেকশন না থাকে, তাহলে সারা বাংলায় কি হচ্ছে সেটা দেখুন। কি হয়েছে সেটা তো আপনারা দেখেছেন, এটা তো অস্বীকার করতে পারবেন না। এটা তো পিসফুলি তো আসতে পারেননি, আমিও পিসফুলি বেরোতে পারিনি। আজকে আমাকে এখানে বসে 10 মিনিট ধরে আমাকে শ্বাস প্রশ্বাস নিতে হয়েছে, আপনাদের সামনেই হয়েছে না? হ্যাঁ কি না বলুন না, কোনোদিন এরকম সিচুয়েশন হয়েছে? আজকে যে সিচুয়েশন হলো, একজন সিনিয়র লয়ার তাকে যেতে পর্যন্ত দিচ্ছে না, এর চেয়ে আর কিছু খারাপ কিছু থাকতে পারে? এই ললেসনেস হয়ে গেছে। মাননীয় মুখ্যমন্ত্রীর জমানাতে ললেসনেস কোনোদিন কলকাতা হাইকোর্টে এই জিনিস হয়নি। মাননীয় মুখ্যমন্ত্রী শুভেন্দু অধিকারের নেতৃত্বে আজকে এই ললেসনেস হলো।
The security of Mamata Banerjee had a very hard time to keep her safe, as many people had come very, very close to her. Media booms were literally as close to her face like this, where journalists did not have control over their hand trying to hold on to that boom. Certainly not responsible if the boom falls and hurts her. But that situation did happen, almost this close. And interestingly, there is one particular video which I did not shoot, or my colleague did not shoot. That particular video had a lot of audio disturbances, so we cannot confirm what transpired verbally in that video. But in that video, as you see Mamata Banerjee come out, this is the video, as you see her come out, after a point, you suddenly see her shocked and point a finger towards somebody. You do that out of surprise, out of shock, out of a feeling of being overwhelmed. When you see a friend from distance, you recognize a friend and you get excited, hi. And when you see someone who has assaulted you at some point or who is not your friend, you get conscious and you suddenly try and hold your guards around you. Can't really interpret the video, the reaction of Mamata Banerjee, and it's difficult without the audio. But she looked visibly shocked, angry, and like any child would complain to a parent that, look mom, look dad, he is the person who bullied me, he is the person who assaulted me in school that day. It was almost like a reaction similar to that. She turned towards the security and she tried identifying someone like this. We do not know who that person is. But what we learned from people who were there, very close to her, they are saying that she suggested he is the guy who had hit me. He is the guy who had assaulted me. Now, he is the guy who had assaulted me today, or he is the guy who had assaulted me on 4th of May inside the counting center, because she made exactly that as an allegation after she walked out of the counting center. So we cannot really confirm that. But the reaction spoke volumes, and certainly without the proper audio channel has stoked in a lot of curiosity as why she got frightened, why she got angry, why she got surprised, why she got shocked seeing someone in that crowd. Had she been averse to the crowd? Has she been scared of the crowd? The crowd had been there all along, from outside courtroom number 1 to the entire corridor, from outside the corridor to even to the passage as she was walking towards a car. What happened at that one point where she turned towards somebody, identified someone, and pointed finger at somebody? Who is that person? Curiosity builds. This is what transpired outside the courtroom. This is what transpired inside the courtroom. Okay? So you were there inside the courtroom today. What really happened? Was it an appeal against the PIL purely made, or the PIL was also heard? What happened inside the courtroom?
There was a public interest litigation filed by one of the candidates of the All India Trinamool Congress, and the allegations which was brought in was specific allegations saying that how many people are out of home, how many party offices of the Trinamool Congress have been demolished, and how many shops of general people who may or may not be related to the party has been demolished, including the hog market effect, including the new bulldozing effect which is coming in. Every of this point was covered in the PIL. There was another PIL also that was also speaking of the same, many of the same issues, but they were not pressing for an interim order. But the interim order was being pressed by the in the PIL filed by the candidate of Trinamool Congress, where Mamata Banerjee was also appearing, assisting Kalyan Banerjee in the matter. So there the specific prayers were that there should be directions upon the police. One, to ensure law and order throughout. Second, whenever there is any complaint, that complaint has to be taken and FIR has to be registered. Investigation has to be done if the complaint discloses the necessitating offences. So that is the prayer that was put forth, and it was brought to the notice of the court that irrespective of religion, irrespective of class and creed, irrespective of castes, people have been killed, irrespective of gender, irrespective of age. Even a young boy was put to peril by throwing hot water or hot oil on him. So these are things which was being told to the court. So the court has decided that it will pass an orders afterwards in the chambers. So the order is yet not out. So we are waiting for it.
Okay. Was it known to anyone? How come no one knew that Mamata Banerjee is coming and appearing?
Mamata Banerjee is a member of the Calcutta High Court Bar Association.
Is she?
Yes.
Okay.
She has never been a defaulter in any of her membership dues like many others, perhaps at many times. Mamata Banerjee is a practicing advocate. She had never surrendered her license. So now she is not a public representative, holding no constitutional post. So there is no bar for Mamata Banerjee to appear on behalf of any client who engages her. So she was representing Shishwanna Bandyopadhyay in the matter and was assisting Kalyan Banerjee. So there was no necessity for anybody to make a public notice that Mamata Banerjee is coming. I think the entire time the proceeding was going on, and just before the judges came in, a lot of people came down to touch Mamata Banerjee's feet, to seek blessings from her, to take selfies and all.
Inside the courtroom?
Inside the courtroom before the judge was there. So the entire courtroom was packed with people, and there were people outside also. And I was there, I walked the Honorable former Chief Minister up to the car.
And what happened outside the courtroom? Who were these people?
When we were coming out, I saw a lot of people trying to take photographs, trying to take pictures. I saw a lot of advocates who are aspiring state panel advocates in the BJP state panel. So they have to get brownie points, It is not about Trinamool, BJP, CPM. It is about that I have to be in state panel for getting some money. So they were trying to, pinch the others along with them. Some who are interns, some even not advocates, some people in civil dress who might be clerks, might not be advocates, might not be anybody. So a very hand-picked of few people were trying to chant Jai Shri Ram, which was not at all being heard in a larger voice. There were people, a huge section of people from Mamata Banerjee's side who wanted to chant Joy Bangla. But the Honorable 8th Chief Minister of West Bengal continuously went ahead and continuously were telling them not to do so, not to chant any slogans within the constitutional court premises. and then she walked up to the car and she left.
These people who were continuously chanting slogans and shouting chor chor, were they lawyers also, or were they outsiders?
To be honest, I could not identify them, but I can tell you, whoever shouts slogans in the court, they are non-practicing advocates. In court, there are a lot, even journalism, you will find few journalists who are there in the office like furnitures. So there are a lot of advocates in the profession who are just there. Makes no difference. You will never hear them. You will never hear them speak in the court. You will never hear them speak outside. You will never hear them making a mark for their client or for themselves. Whoever takes a stand of diminishing the majesty of the oldest constitutional court of the country cannot be called to be an advocate. He can be anything but an advocate.
You think raising such slogans
Any slogan
is insulting?
had this been a slogan of saying Mamata Banerjee Zindabad, I would have condemned it. Had this slogan being chor chor, I am condemning it. Within the court, there's a reason why advocates wear gown and band. You just destroyed that. You cannot do it.
You have tried documenting what you saw, what you heard, and you have also tried documenting what you saw, but you could not hear. And probably there lies the curiosity between the lines. Along with Titash Mukherjee, here in Kolkata, this is Tamal Shah for News the Truth, NTT.